Sourcing in procurement and supply. Unit 5. Sourcing in private, third and public sector. Section 2. Key features of private sector procurement. In the previous section, we looked at the nature and various forms of private sector organizations, where we saw that we have classification on the basis of ownership and control, or the classification on the basis of size, where we have the SMEs, the large and multinational organizations, and also classification on the basis of business activity, where we saw the primary activities or primary industries who engage in extraction of raw materials. We also saw the secondary industries where they engage in manufacturing, and finally we saw the tertiary industries where they engage in services. We also looked at some sources of funds in the private sector organizations. In this section, we look at some key features of private sector procurement. At the end of the section, we should be able to identify various mechanisms supply chains of private sector organizations benefit from. We should also be able to explain alignment with supplier, identify innovative supply chain approaches. A key feature of private sector innovative procurement is the extent to which the interests of buyers and suppliers have become integrated or aligned. Now, rather than organizations or firms competing, the modern view is that the whole supply chain competes to offer customer value and to meet the customer's demand. And they need to ensure that this is done more efficiently and effectively than their competitors. Suppliers are therefore seen as essential collaborators in value delivery, competitive advantage, and business success. For this reason, traditional adversarial and transactional relationships where each party is trying to gain an advantage over the other, or where parties do not see the need to form long-term relationships with their suppliers, have increasingly been replaced for important and strategic procurement by longer-term collaborative relationships or supply chain partnerships. The interests of buyers and suppliers are no longer seen as mutually exclusive or competitive, usually based around a win-lose battle to gain the advantage over the other party on price. Instead, the interests of buyers and suppliers are viewed as potentially aligned, that is, their interests are broadly compatible or aiming towards the same goal. Innovative supply chain approaches. A number of supply chain approaches developed in the private sector have come to be regarded as innovative best practice which could benefit private sector procurement. We're going to briefly go through some of these approaches. 1. Early involvement of procurement. This is when the organization ensures that the procurement departments are brought in the earlier stage of project or product development stage, why their skills and knowledge are likely to have most impact. You don't wait till you get to the point where you need procurement before you invite them. Right from the onset, at the earliest stage, you need to involve procurement because they may have some skills and knowledge which those involved in or those responsible for the development of the project or the product may not have. Secondly, we say the early involvement of suppliers, where organizations make sure that the objectives of procurement is communicated to potential suppliers at an early stage to gauge the market's ability to deliver and explore a range of possible solutions. Just like the early involvement of procurement, the early supplier involvement is making sure that you involve your suppliers early. You don't wait till you're done developing the whole thing and then go to the market. Remember, your suppliers may have some knowledge and skills which you, the people developing the products, may not have. They may know the innovative materials coming up. They may have innovative solutions coming up, which those developing the products may not know. So it's early to involve them early in the process. The third approach is the use of electronic procurement. To make procurement and supply as efficient as possible, ICT tools are being integrated into the function. This has witnessed increased value at low administrative cost, easy communication with suppliers, and increased visibility of the supply chain. Some of these ICT tools are the ERP, that's the Enterprise Resource Planning, the RFIDs, the barcodes, and so on. So for instance, with organizations that use the barcoding on their product, once a product is scanned, we're able to know everything about the product. We're able to know the level of product or the quantity available as at the time we scanned the product. We're able to know the price. We're able to know exactly on what shelf this particular product can be found. We're able to know the whole or total makeup of a particular product. And definitely this ensures increased value in our processes, reduced cost, easy communication with suppliers, and increased visibility of the entire supply chain. The fourth approach we have here is the proactive contract management. Proactive contract management is ensuring that reliable and comprehensive information is available to monitor the performance of the contractor and taking action quickly when delivery, price, and quality is at risk. Flexibility in the use of competition. Formal competitive procedures are being adopted in a number of ways, including early procurement involvement, like we explained earlier, working more closely with your suppliers, giving suppliers better access to information about contracts, greater use of e-procurement, explicit statements of non-price selection criteria and weightings, and improved supplier debriefing. That's giving information about a selection criteria to help suppliers improve in the future. In conclusion, we have looked at some key features of procurement in the private sector. The private sector usually pursue partnership seeking and relationship building strategies. These include supplier development, early supplier involvement, early buyer involvement, the use of electronic procurement, the proactive contract management, and so on. Thank you.